All right, hello everybody, welcome to another episode. Today let's break down Bitcoin, Ethereum, and overview what's going on about the crypto markets. And I'll give you my opinion, my honest opinion, and what's my execution plan and what I'm doing currently on the market. So let's start from the Bitcoin and let me talk a little bit the language of the certainty and uncertainty around the Bitcoin before we overlap some indicators. The Bitcoin is getting not interesting for my opinion because let me explain you why. Because when the price start to recovers from the $15,000 over here, right? $15,000. It was pretty obvious. Like every time the Bitcoin reaches the resistance, we are forming some kind of correctional structure. Again, we are seeing some strong resistance, right? The market reacts, but this reaction is kind of obvious that it is not like ABC, but we definitely see here the wrong correction, right? Where is the price the choppy one, and most likely there is such kind of structure always is for the continuation of the uptrend, right? So once again, we saw that massive impulse, we break this resistance, right? And after that, at the top again, we formed some really great conditions for reversal. So each kind of the top over here, right? I've been calling, and most of my subscribers knows about that because it was pretty obvious. Do you understand? And here's the same thing. Here's the one more obvious thing happened. Like for example, here wasn't like any kind of resistance here, right? But this correction was pretty obvious that we might see the bounce because after the retesting the strongest support, right? More likely we are gonna see some reaction, and that's what happened because this is the strongest support in history of the Bitcoin, right? That's which one continues from 2021 towards 2025, 24, 25, right? So that's also was pretty obvious that that's not over of the bull market, right? That's most likely we're gonna see some reaction, and that's what happened. And after this already, right? After basically we formed the structure. Do you understand? We break all the necessary resistances, right? All the necessary resistances. We break the most strongest resistances. We retested it and we went towards price discovery, right? So basically, I would say that Bitcoin from the structure, if you are the trader and you are like kind of trying buy at the lows and sell at the highs, it done its job. To holding right now till the bear market begins, right? And I wouldn't say like that's a bad strategy. It all depends what's your purpose with each deposit, right? But if we talk about the trading, right, the spot trading, when you bought at the low prices and want to sell higher prices, this structure is enough to take the profits from there, right? From the perspective to buy low and sell high. If your purpose is like to buy and hold forever and you don't want to like kind of think about that at all, that is completely different story. We are not talking about that. So this channel is more talk about the trading and how we kind of profiting from the market, right? Basically how I do it by myself, right? And this is not the financial advice. Right now, we are seeing that this structure already getting not interesting from the trading perspective. And it is not interesting to take some shorts, and it's not interesting to take some longs, for my opinion. Because, I mean, maybe the people who are gonna cuff the top or cuff the bottom might look smart, but for me it's more important to make money on the markets, right? So because of that, right now we are seeing that we kind of retesting really strong support over here, but I wouldn't say that's already strong support. It is the strong support, but from the global perspective, the Bitcoin done its job. Right, that's how I treat the Bitcoin right now. So right now, let me deep dive a little bit on the local scenario, and I'll show you the uncertainties and how the market is playing out and why it's not actually interesting. So basically, let's open the daily time frame and let me make only one line. I don't need like much, right? Over here, let's make like this, and you basically seeing what is currently is going on. Look at that. Like we have a strong support and Bitcoin like kind of playing with this support so many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? I mean, so basically it's kind of like as we fall below this one, that's all, bear market begins, right? As we trade above this level, there's a bunch of resistances, right? Which is like kind of hard to break it. So basically, when the price is above that support, it's uncertainty, and when it goes down, is much like a lot of fear on the market. So that's the current situation around the Bitcoin, and it is normal to understand. If I'm repeating, if I'm the holder of the Bitcoin, I want to profiting in this cycle. Those prices already is good for me. Each price over here is really good for me to take some profits. But to enter the new position right now, it is not really interesting. About the short perspective, right? I better wait for really the break of the whole structure. Like, for example, if the price gonna fall from here, right, we retest this support once again, right, on this bounce already, there's will be some kind of bounce. I mean, I know that this is how the structure works, right? The price is not just kind of moves in one direction like that, right? It has supports and it has resistances. So as it will reach the really global support over here, right, the structure will be already kind of understandable that we are kind of making the trend change, do you know? And here, that's going to be interesting for me to take some shorts, because I know that that's already kind of, we are creating higher lows, lower lows, and like going down and down and down, right? So that's, for me, from short perspective, is more interesting rather than trying to catch the kind of the top right now. I don't think that's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, with the proper risk management, some people doing it, and I hope they're doing everything successfully, right? But that's not my strategy. That's what I don't want to do, you know. So, and from the long perspective, like, okay, that's another thing. The long perspective is that I don't want to take the longs here because I don't see the understandable structure. Yes, I'm saying that we are trading at really strong support, but what's going on here is like crazy choppy situation, right? So like, what's the point to take the longs, right? So that's why I'm kind of switching it, and I don't care about the Bitcoin. So what's going on in the crypto space right now? Now, if we open the Ethereum, right? Ethereum is getting much more interesting because the bounce, what happened, and where the structure is right now. So look at that. So what we had over here, how we can, interpretate all of this scenario over here. For me, it looks like this. This is some kind of wave 1 on the higher time frame. This is wave 2 global one. And right now we are in a massive, this third wave. The third wave is the actual bull market. The third wave is actually when happens the rotation, when the Bitcoin kind of stops and Ethereum moves. So that's the third wave. You know, that's in a crypto when the third wave is happening. Same thing on the Bitcoin. You remember that moment when the Bitcoin making crazy highs, right? And Ethereum and all altcoins are kind of stopping. So basically Bitcoin in the third wave, right? It makes the impulses. So what happened from Ethereum perspective? First of all, we are in a range of the previous bull market, right? So this has happened high over here. So as the Bitcoin has the 69K, we have on the Ethereum like around 5K, right? That was like an all-time high. So basically, we trade still in this zone. We trade in the bear market, you know. And right now, Ethereum tries to break that all resistances. So it started in May. It started from April, somewhere over here, right? When the major reversal happens, we saw massive amount of volume start to join in, and structure was already interesting over here, right? And I was posting it in my Telegram channel. By the way, don't forget to join our Telegram channel, because there I share completely for free all of my knowledge, and you can just follow there and maybe learn and educate yourself. So basically what happened? We like scared everybody with this movement, right? And we started the first movement. Here, of course, the strongest resistance over here, very strong. I wouldn't say like strongest one, but it's one of the strong resistance over here. What happened? We stopped sometime, we consolidate here, we let people exit the break even, because everybody was very scared over here. A lot of people felt that we lost the control, right? Including everybody, including myself also, because this one was very unexpected. Unexpected, but same time expected, because that's the crypto, that's the market, what it usually do. You always need to prepare for something. I wouldn't say that exactly here I knew that that is coming, but I just keep in mind that it is possibility for that, right? Because this over here, like wave 1, 2, and this continuation looks like we are breaking it, right? But again, the market like kind of played out, and this is where the people lost the control, all the traders. And when you start to lose the control, when you are kind of beautifully sit in a position and expecting going that way, right? And everything start to overlaps, like fundamentals, technicals, everybody's telling you that's a good time to buy, blah, blah, blah. And you suddenly see the markets do a completely opposite thing, right? You are losing the hope, you are losing the control. And that's after that, this price action, actually price recovers very quickly, right? Look at that, it's reached the targets where around like 3 years price could not reach that one, and we suddenly reached there. But this recovery feels completely different for the investors and the people, the retail traders, and for everybody, because you lost the control. You remember how it was, right? You remember how it was that you were expecting something, but it's completely different happened. So you start to think that anything can happen over here, but that's already when the market resets. And what it did, it went to the first strong support. It means what? It means a lot of orders being opened here. So when the most of the time price stopped right there, so most likely people bought there, right? The most amount of people. So when the price stopped there was like a just let me quit, right? And they start to exit the break even. This is how I treat that moment. And of course, some consolidation, a little more fear, and massive breakout of that resistance, and straightly go towards the strongest resistance, because that's the all-time high. And basically that's a green, it's pretty green light that the market is actually resetted, right? And we actually first time hit the target where the profits are kind of interesting, right? You can, I mean, most of the funds and hedge funds and venture funds and smart retails, they're partly taking some profits over here, because that's a great gain over here. But it is not the over, for my opinion, right? That's just kind of recovery, and at the road, meanwhile, you're taking some step-by-step some profits. So the fun begins when the Ethereum start to break this resistance, right? Then when it comes to alt season, and that's where the Ethereum activates its own ecosystem. Do you understand? We cannot see the alt season if the Ethereum is not at the all-time high, right? And when it starts to goes to all-time high, then the sentiments start to kind of switch, right, and activates, because Ethereum is like a global computer, and the altcoins is like a build on that computer. So we cannot like crash that computer and use the applications over there, right? So that's the stuff. So we need to activate, and we need to kind of turn on the major computer, and then we can use those applications. So that thing is what is going on Ethereum. So basically, it is really very important for Ethereum to break that all-time high and go towards price discovery. So that's why the Ethereum right now looks more kind of interesting. And when we start to break down, let me open the double charts over here, like that. And when we start to break down at the beginning the Bitcoin's price, right? When I said that as it reached the resistance, we saw the understandable kind of correctional structure. Like here happened A, B, C wrong correction. Here happened the bull flag, right? So basically each one of them is the correctional structure. Here's the A, B, C happened, right? So at the resistance, the correction. So the same thing is going on Ethereum. So right now we entered, look at that, if we mark the resistance over here, right? So we reached that, and it's already starts the choppy price. So what is the choppy price? It's basically the same like this or same like that, right? It is not this price action, it's not looks like reversible like happened over here. You see, like first major drop, right? And then the bear market, we can confirm the bear market, right? So we didn't see such kind of thing on Ethereum. So we definitely seeing that it's shaping even like some kind of bull flag. It is not certain. I cannot say that this, let me deep dive. We cannot say that this correction is pretty certain. No, like it's a very choppy one, but the choppy already telling me that that's the correction. Do do you know? So if that correction, great time to kind of look at some trades. So I start to look at on a smaller time frame and start to break down the Ethereum on this smaller time frame. So that's why the Ethereum right now is start to be interesting, because we don't see on Ethereum something like this, right? Is going on here because Bitcoin is done its own job. Yeah, it can double in the price, but that's unpredictable thing. It is not like kind of obvious already, right? We can just stop, even we can stop here and the Ethereum can run right now, right? And the Bitcoin just stops here and we start the end of the year or whatever the cycle will start ends, right? We start the bear market. So that's why it's very uncertain here. But Ethereum is pretty certain because we see certain resistances, we're seeing certain supports, and from that targets we start to kind of work with that. And that's why you can see right now that Ethereum from the forget about all of this what happened here, right? Here, all of this price action, Ethereum was very, very uncertain. It is hard to trade. Why? Because all the focus was on the Bitcoin. That's where it was interesting to trade. The Bitcoin was really interesting to trade that time, right? Because it has a really understandable structure. But here you cannot understand anything, right? But right now it's completely, we switched the scenario, right? And narrative is changing, and right now we are seeing in this price action very certain structure, very impulses, correction, impulses, correction, right? Yes, it's choppy, and the choppy usually hard to kind of catch the bottom, right? But the overview, it is giving you that we are in correction, and sometimes that's enough, because when it comes towards leverage trading, for me, I'm not crazily trying to jump into trades. If the trade tries to catch me, actually, right? If I meet the trade, then I'm gonna open it, but I'm not gonna chase in it, right? If you start to chasing it, that's when the anxiety starts to increases, right? And that's what you want to avoid. So that's why, I mean, I don't care. Yeah, maybe I won't take any longs here, like major longs, like, you know, when you take some great longs with 10x or some really great leverage and let it run, right? In that bull market, how we did in the Bitcoin in $55,000, we opened the longs and still it's opening, right? We already took some profits, but it's still opening. But I'm not crazily kind of trying to catch that. If there's opportunity, okay. If not, all right, no. But before that, we actually traded pretty well here. We already took some profits, right? Because all of these bounces, we took it. Most of my long position closed in break even, but we had enough time to take some profits, right? Partly on Bitcoin, same. Even in that choppy this choppy price action, right? You remember that we opened pretty great long positions over here, right? And we took all of these bounces, this bounce, right? Yeah, most of the position went and catch the break even price, right? We closed the longs, some of them. But it was pretty interesting. Same thing on the Ethereum. Right now I'm kind of fishing, right? With the small amount of, I'm lowering my risks, of course, and opening some leverage positions. And if I'm right, I can catch the bottom over here. So right now, let me deep dive with the local scenario and let's see, do we actually see some reversible thing that it might give us like some, I would say, like continuation of the trend. To be honest, on the smaller time frame, it's pretty tricky one right now, right? The correction went really, like if we say that this is wave one, right, and this is the correction, all of this correction, and then continuation after uptrend, I better miss that movement, right? Because I mean, I don't like this correction is pretty deep. If we take a Fibonacci put on the beginning and the end of this impulse over here, we actually retesting 0.7. Yes, that's the last target for correction. Usually correction comes 0.5, 0.6 area. 0.7 is also the correction, but it's pretty deep one. So, and especially when we retesting 1, 2, like 3 times, for me, it's getting shaky, right? But I mean, it's still in the correction. I cannot say anything. Like it can reverse from here straightly and go like and break it, and the impulse can start it. And basically, if we overlap that towards timing, right? What I really don't like, but cycles plus minus works on the Bitcoin and in crypto. We have 2 months, right? We have 2 months of the possibility of major impulse in these 2 months, right? And anything can happen. And if we overlap that, basically, yeah, Ethereum is pretty ready to go higher. Another like theory is like everybody's talk about extended cycle, which I really don't want to see, but if that happens, I would say the targets for Bitcoin will be much more higher, and for Ethereum, because extended cycle most likely gonna create for us crazy prices, because the sentiment, how it's gonna change, I cannot even imagine how high gonna go the Bitcoin that kind of leads that euphoric sentiment on the market, right? So I hope that cycle is over at the end of the year, right? And we go straightly 1 year bear market, because it's really easy to work with Bitcoin, right? And that's less stress. I mean, still in Bitcoin and crypto, there's a massive volatility. There's a lot of stress, right? And that was like kind of really comfortable certainty on the market when the 4 year cycle, but we cannot do anything. We have to adapt it, right? So yeah, if we overlap toward that, we might see some kind of reversal from here. If not, that's the last thing what I'm gonna say right now, and then we're gonna finish it. If no, the major support right now remains, of course, this one, around from 3,200 towards 2,900, around that target, where I'm expecting, if the price is gonna fall right now and goes creates for us one more low, I believe that's gonna be more deeper correction, and after that we will see some reaction, like something such kind of, right? But I would say like better if we will reverse from here, and we have still chance for that. I mean, I'm not saying that it's pretty bearish one in a local scenario, but yeah, possibility of going down once again still exists. If it will do so, more likely it's gonna give us some confirmation, so we take some longs, right? If not, and go straightly from here, I already closed my long position on Ethereum and basically just let it run. Major thing for me, what is interesting is that, again, that's the correctional structure for me, right? And I'm expecting, doesn't matter, like as I said, as we reach this target, we will see the correction. So I don't care, we're gonna consolidate and go like this, or we're gonna go a little bit deeper correction and go like that, right? I don't care. The idea is more interesting for me, right? And the structure, where the market is. So that's how I look at the market. That's what I'm expecting in the market, and this is how I executed my positions. If you find this is for you useful, you can subscribe to the channel, press the likes, and join our Telegram channel. It's completely for free. There I'm sharing everything. So thank you for watching and for your attention, and bye bye.